Hi, this is Doug Schneider. Welcome back to Real Hi-Fi. Today I want to talk about an article Dennis Berger wrote on SoundStageAccess.com on February 1st called The Most Dangerous Myth in Audio. What this myth is that Dennis is talking about is the idea that some audiophiles, and in particular who he's targeting, are reviewers, have what are called golden ears. Ears that can somehow hear things other people can't. Superior hearing to the rest of the public, and that allows them to make pronouncements in reviews that are more definitive, because after all, if you can hear special qualities in music and sounds in general that others can't, well, that elevates you above everyone else. I, for one, would love for this tale about golden-eared reviewers to be true. As the founder of SoundStage, I could say, wow, all of our writers, they have golden ears. They can hear things the average person in the world can't. So listen to what they have to say, because they're listening to music in ways you possibly can't, and they can guide you correctly. And as leader of SoundStageAccess.com, I'm sure Dennis Berger would love to tell you that his hearing is superior to everyone else's as well. But the truth of the matter is, as Dennis points out, the notion of the golden-eared audiophile reviewer is bullshit. And why do we both say that? Him and I, we agree 100% that it's just not true. And that's because in all our years of doing this, we've never found anyone in the reviewing community who's proven to have superior hearing to what the average public hears. In fact, I would say that more often than not, I found that some reviewers have diminished hearing compared to what the public has. And why would I make that comment about diminished hearing? Because let's face it, many hi-fi reviewers are pretty damn old. I'm not that young anymore. I'm 57 years old, and who would I be kidding to say I can hear better than when I was 47, 37, or 27? So I can hear better now than decades ago. I'm some sort of superhuman person because I'm an audio reviewer whose hearing gets better with age. Well, many reviewers are over 60, over 70. So the notion that they have superior hearing to people who are decades younger than them is nonsense. And then there's what I've personally witnessed at the audio shows I've been to over the years, when I've seen some, let's call them advanced age audio reviewers come in, largely from the print magazines, and they want their own music played. And whatever coincidence, it seems to be 70s and 80s era rock, which is fine, but they keep asking for the volume to go up and up and up and up to uncomfortably loud volume levels. Like, I mean, really loud that I'm covering my ears and others are too. But I'm looking at the reviewers and thinking, as they're sitting there patiently, do you realize how loud this is? Is it because you're not 30 anymore and you need all those clicks on the volume knob? And I'm not saying that to be a dick, but in reality, age isn't the only thing that takes its toll on our hearing. Recording engineers, producers all know this. You sit and listen to loud music day in and day out, you're going to get hearing damage too. So once again, this idea of the golden-eared audiophile reviewer, it just isn't ringing true. But probably the most telling thing about why this golden ear audiophile reviewer myth is simply a myth is that in all these decades of hi-fi reviewing, I've never come across anyone who's proven through a hearing test, through, say, listening test, that they can hear things others can't hear. Instead, it's only claimed. And when all you can do is claim, but you can't back it up with proof, hey, that should tell you all you need to know. So now that I've let the cat out of the bag that I'm not a golden-eared audiophile reviewer, Dennis let the cat out of the bag in February, I'll tell you right now, I don't believe anybody on our staff is, and I don't believe anyone on anyone else's staff is either. Does that mean all hi-fi reviewers are useless? Not so fast. There is value in what I call trained listening or experienced listening. And it doesn't mean that the person can hear things that others can't hear. But through training and or experience, some hi-fi reviewers can identify things better than the average person can, and that can start to bring value to the reviews and also insight into products that the average person listening might not be able to. For example, let's say someone has strong musical training. They can bring that musical training into equipment reviewing to identify, oh, I know what the sound of this instrument is generally like. I know the sound of this note on, say, a piano or a cello or whatever. They can bring that knowledge into the hi-fi reviewing. Now, that doesn't mean they're hearing things any better than what somebody else is hearing. What it means is they're able to identify those sounds better and perhaps use it in their reviewing. Likewise, I've become pretty adept at identifying frequencies, and that is because I've tested speakers at the National Research Council for more than 20 years and use a lot of tones to test the loudspeakers. And one of the most common tone to come out in the chamber is a 1 kilohertz tone, which you'll use to calibrate, say, the microphones. And you hear that 1 kilohertz tone often enough, and you know what 1 kilohertz, that's 1,000 hertz, sounds like. Likewise, you're sweeping the different frequencies and seeing the frequencies as they're going by. You begin to identify, okay, I know what 100 hertz sounds like. I know what 500 hertz sounds like. I know what 2 kilohertz sounds like. It doesn't mean that you're hearing any better, but you're able to identify the frequencies better. You can make more sense of the sound, and if you can bring that into hi-fi reviewing, that can be of benefit. And a different type of experience was shown to me in about 1990, before I got into reviewing. I had a friend who had a tremendous amount of knowledge through years of hi-fi retailing as well as diagnosing and repairing of hi-fi gear. He was kind of like a doctor who has seen illnesses over and over again, who can quickly identify them through experience. And we wanted to hear this pair of speakers that were being demonstrated elsewhere. So he and I went, and when we arrived, the speakers were already being played before a small group. And it didn't take long to realize that there was something off with the highs, and we could hear some of the audiophiles listening using subjective terms to identify what they were hearing in the highs. And my friend just kind of looked bewildered, and he walked over to the speakers, put an ear close to each tweeter, and the demonstrator was looking, didn't seem to realize what he was doing, and then turned around and said, the tweeters are mostly damaged. What you guys are hearing is distortion. And the demonstrator was rather embarrassed because he didn't realize it, and suddenly it all came clear to everybody in the audience. But the point is, his ability to diagnose that quickly came through experience of hearing other damaged speakers. So in summary, you don't need superior hearing to identify musical attributes, test tone frequencies, or distorting tweeters. Instead, you need experience, and that's what the hearing of a good hi-fi reviewer can bring. But if there's still some hi-fi reviewer who thinks he or she has golden ears, that he or she can hear what others can't, then Dennis and I are in agreement on this. Prove it. Do a hearing test. Let's do some listening tests. Let's prove conclusively you can hear what others can't. Because until that happens with somebody, consider the golden-eared audiophile reviewer another hi-fi myth busted. Thank you for watching.